What's going on, Sideline to Sideline Nation? It is your boy Brandon and my host here, Taylor. What's going on, Taylor?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing good. We missed a week, man. We missed a week. You know,
Yeah, we did. It was an exciting, busy week. So,
yeah, exciting, busy week, which means we have a lot to talk about. We're still going to try to keep the show short. This will be, I guess, our last show before we start breaking down into the NFL draft, like we recently discussed. So I guess let's get right into it. We talked about it the last show we did with the Brian Flores when it first started kind of coming out to light. There's been some more stuff that has come out to light. The fact that he was offered $100,000 to be to lose with the Miami Dolphins to tank, and so you know, I want to get your thoughts on that, obviously, in the situation, and then I want to pose the question: should there be, like the NBA, to oppose tanking, maybe a top 5 lottery, maybe pick lottery?
I think it's kind of hard to combat tanking like that, especially when you've been such a below average franchise for so long.
You're telling me the Miami Dolphins were not goated?
I'm sorry to say, but that is a fact. I am sorry to say. I think it's hard because to be the worst team in the NFL gives you the best pick in the draft. That is a huge incentive to lose. I mean, if I'm a head coach of, let's say, let me turn this back on. Sorry. Let's say the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm offered $500,000 to lose.
Yeah.
You better believe we losing some games, guaranteed.
Well, the problem with that is you wouldn't even have to try as the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That's true.
The second thing, like I said, maybe just the top 5 teams. That way you can't just tank. You know what I'm saying? Like the Jags, the Jets. I mean, the Dolphins aren't even top 5 this year, so it doesn't even matter. I don't even know why they were trying to tank. But kudos to Brian Flores for telling his owner, Stephen Ross, no, I'm not tanking. He did his best. He's not a bad coach. He had 2 at a quarterback, and the team isn't really great. So the fact that he pulled off, I think, 7 or 8 wins this season says a lot about, one, of his coaching, but 2, the fact that the man had $100,000 to lose. If he would have lost all 16 games, I think $1.6 million would have been in his pocket, if my math is correct. So he turned that down, but to me, I think the NFL, one, should strip Stephen Ross of being the Miami owner. But 2,
do what they did in the NBA with the Clippers whenever they had those allegations out there, and they forced the team sale, and it got bought out for like $6 billion, I believe it was.
Yeah,
but the Clippers' new owner is fantastic, and the Clippers seem more lively ever since then. Get a new owner in there that's not going to pay a head coach to lose games.
Maybe like
and and maybe get that. I mean, the Mannings have been interested in purchasing a franchise for a while. I know they wouldn't be able to. They probably don't have billions just sitting around, but they could be part owners of an organization. And I'd like to play for a team that's owned by one of the Mannings. I wouldn't hate on that.
Here's a thought, right? Crazy thought. AB is now a part of. He's no longer he's a part of football, but he's no longer in football, right? He just joined Kanye West's sports agency and sports brand. Kanye West buys the Miami Dolphins and puts AB in charge. Think about it. Just think about it. Or
it'll be run like a Family Dollar.
Or and this would be hilarious. And it's not going to happen, but the NFL forces Tampa Bay to sell their ownership, and then for whatever reason, they don't really have a reason outside of just be fucking hilarious. AB becomes the new owner of the Tampa Bay Bucks, and Bruce Arians, Mike Evans, and company have to call him boss.
There would be resignations hitting the desk faster than you can imagine.
Oh, would you imagine that? That'd be
Promise
hilarious.
You that. be some open vacancies down in Tampa Bay.
Oh man,
Guaranteed.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. No, but for real, the Brian Flores stuff is it's pretty wild. Getting paid to lose. Obviously, we talked about how there should be more representation amongst African American head coaches. Mike Tomlin was originally the only one at the time, and then now we have Lovie Smith, and I think that's it. I think that was it.
I've said this many times, and I'll say it time and time again. If for whatever reason a person is hiring people based off of this color of their skin and solely that fact, they should, without question, be barred and banned from the game of football, from anything, should be forced to sell whatever team they own and replaced with somebody who is going to look at the paper and not the color of somebody's skin and pick the right person for the job.
Yeah.
Straight up. That's it. There should be no other factors other than, can you coach the game of football?
Are you the best?
Can you relate to your players? Do you relate to the fans, and do the fans like you? And can you get us some wins? That's it. That should be the only thing you're looking at. Those 4 things, that is what you need for a winning program. Just look at the Bengals. Their head coach, everybody likes. The players like him. The fans like him. He can coach football, and look at him.
Yeah. I agree. I would put this out there, right? The Rooney Rule is a good rule, but horribly executed.
Yeah.
Right? Because then it just allows owners and GMs to kind of go, okay, we got our guy. We'll just kind of write this guy off. We got to bring him an interview. We don't really care. And it's not really best man for the job. I mean, think about it. I mean, we can't, obviously, we're not black, but you're going in for a job thinking maybe, you're the best man for the job, but then you also in the back of your mind is like, are they just bringing me in to kind of fit a criteria, or do they actually want to talk to me? So if you get rid of the Rooney Rule, it's like, hey, we want to talk to you about our head coaching job. Then it's like, okay, they actually might offer me the position. Because you run into the situation where Brian starts with a G. For the Giants who just got hired, Bill Belichick texted Brian Flores, congratulations on getting the Giants job. And then Brian Flores was like, I did not get the Giants job. And obviously he, at that point, knew he was going in just to check off the Rooney Rule.
Yep.
So to me, it's kind of the Rooney Rule it's like I said, it's a good rule to try to create diversity.
It's a good rule in theory.
But when you try to force something and you allow that loophole, then ultimately it doesn't kind of work out. I mean, the Giants never wanted Brian Flores. They wanted, I'll just say him Brian G. White Brian. And for Flores to go in and waste his time and his, he gets flown out, whatever, that's cool. The Giants paid for it. But nonetheless, he's going in and wasting his time. Like, he's sitting there, and imagine going to an interview, and I'm like, hey, Taylor, how's it going? But before you got to the interview, and this is going to be a multi-million-dollar job, I'm like, yeah, we're thinking about you. But you're like, I already know. Cut the BS. I already know. I got texted that it was the wrong Brian who got hired. You hired someone else. I don't know why I'm here. Like, that would be a shot to the gut, and I'd be annoyed as well. I don't know about you. But.
Absolutely. No, I don't even know if I'd show up for the interview if I knew that they had hired somebody and they're just doing this as a formality, especially on the basis of race. I would definitely be irritated. I personally can't imagine what that would be like, but I know I would be irritated, and I most likely would not show up to the interview. And that day I would probably put out a press release and been like, this is what happened, and this is how it went down.
Yeah. And so, I mean, and that's my opinion. I know there's some people out there who are like the Rooney Rule, and they're like, no, we need to keep it in order to increase diversity. But I think it takes away from diversity because it allows teams to have a loophole, and it allows these coaches, or it kind of could put a thought into the coach's mind of, are they really bringing me in? I mean, Gerard Mayo, defensive coordinator for the Patriots now, obviously an incredible linebacker in the NFL for a long time. He's been in the league as a coach for 4 years now. And he put it best. He's like, I don't want to be hired because I'm black. I want to be hired because I'm the best man for the job. Now, obviously, he goes on to talk about, yes, he sees that there's even more diversity, and he hopes that the NFL diversifies and hires more black coaches. But at the end of the day, he doesn't want to be brought in just simply because he's black. He wants to be brought in because they think he's the best.
Yeah, race should never be a factor for anything. Just get the best guy for the job. That's it. I wish it was that simple.
Yeah.
And hopefully it becomes that simple.
Yeah. And when you look at Brian Leftwich, you go down the the freaking Jacksonville Jaguars, mind my French, Shad Khan and all them, they didn't work it out because Bulk, or I don't know how to say his last name, Bulky, their GM, everyone wanted him fired. Brian Leftwich said, "I'll come be your head coach if he is fired. He's gone." Fortunately, his ties to Bulky, I can't ever pronounce his last name, but nonetheless, you guys know who I'm talking about. The GM of the Jaguars made Brian Leftwich pull out, and they got Doug Peterson, who's not like a top down. I think Brian Leftwich is probably a better coach, but the higher Super Bowl winning coach is pretty. It's like, okay, we'll take it, but I think the lack of diversity kind of helps Brian Flores' case in this, where teams are sitting there not hiring these black coaches, especially because there's a lot of successful black coaches out there.
Agreed.
I do want to ask you a question on Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. The man has had thousands of interviews, and at this point, I don't know if it's because of the Rooney Rule. I just think he's bad at interviews because the man is a football genius, and every time he leaves, they're like, I need a cigarette and a beer.
So it's either he's bad at interviews or they're not offering what he thinks he should be getting paid.
Yeah.
Which you don't accept the first thing that's thrown your way. And that's probably what he's doing. He's probably trying to find the place where he's going. He knows he's going to be able to coach for 5 to 10 years. He's going to be that coach for the long haul, not like, oh, we're going to bring you in for like 2 years, try and rebuild, and then we're going to get somebody in to really push us to the next level. That's what I think is going on.
I agree. And then,
I'm hoping that's what's going on.
So, and then it comes out with Brian Flores offered $100,000. He obviously didn't take it. I can't say that Hugh Jackson didn't take this. Hugh Jackson came out saying the Browns offered him $50,000 to take L's. Your thoughts on that?
50, not 100? Dang. That's rough. I don't know why. I don't get it. The Browns lose football games on their own. You don't, why are you wasting this money? And my thing is, was he offered the money, and did he take the money?
Yeah, because the Browns
it's
lost
been a long because they lost a lot of games.
Oh man.
A lot of games.
Yeah. But hey, they got Baker out of it. And then Jim
True.
Caldwell with their 016 Lions is like, you guys are getting paid?
Yeah.
You guys are getting paid?
Wait a minute. You guys are making money off of this? I'm doing this for free out here?
Oh, man.
Pro bono work?
Yeah. I don't know. It's a crazy situation. We'll be following it closely as it plays out. Will he ever get another head coaching job? I don't know. He's suing the entire NFL. So at that point, you kind of get blacklisted. He'll probably get a good bit of change to put in his pocket to at least suffice for the rest of his life, and at least coaching. He'll probably be able to coach in college at least. I do think he should be a coach in the NFL. Will that happen? I don't know. I'll let you take us into our next topic, Taylor. Take it.
What would you like to discuss? You want to go into our NFL honors, or would you like to go into the Hall of Fame class and the potential snubs that you may have on your list?
All right, hold on. All right. Surprise me. I'm acting like this. I can't hear you or something, but I don't completely can.
You can literally hear.
Just pick a topic. Let's go off the top.
We'll just swing on into the NFL honors here. Last night, as you know, I'm sure you watched. I watched. The NFL held their NFL honors, and I personally think everybody that won their award was the right person for that award, except for the most valuable player. I personally think that Aaron Rodgers, while did play an MVP caliber season, I do believe did not outplay Jonathan Taylor. I think Jonathan Taylor was the biggest asset to any team, and I definitely think he got snubbed on that. I'm pretty sure you agree with me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the Packers just had so many weapons that it made it easy for Aaron Rodgers.
Well, so counter argument on that though, because then you can't. I mean, I don't think Aaron Rodgers should have won because it's turned into a quarterback award, and it's kind of dumb. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers was the most valuable player on the Packers. I think Devontae Adams probably was, but you run into the thing of, okay, well, Tom Brady was second in votes. He had Mike Evans and Gronk, and you can't blame someone for the weapons they have. It's just good, like you played good, rather you play good. Like we can't like. I saw someone make this argument on TikTok. That's why, and I kind of agreed with it. That's why I'm trying to like you guys bring it to light because someone said Aaron Rodgers cut it out, shouldn't have won because of his weapons, and then someone said, well, you just want every quarterback to sit there and have a Hunter Renfro, and that's his top receiver, and that was it. You can't really punish them for what they have. They're just using what they, the tools they have.
I get that, but it's most valuable player. What player brought the most to the team? And if you're looking at a team that has nobody, and then you're the one all-star on the team, and you guys had a potential to go to the playoffs, of course they missed it, but a pretty good season, mainly because of that one player. That, in my eyes, is the most valuable player. If he is a game changer to any team he goes to, that is the most valuable player.
No,
if you take Aaron Rodgers and you put him with the Buccaneers are going to be just as good, if not a little worse.
Yeah.
If you take Aaron Rodgers and you put him on any top 5 team, they're going to be pretty much what they are. If you put him on the Lions, they're still probably going to be the Lions. You put Jonathan Taylor on the Lions.
If he goes to the Jets, the Jets are goated, man.
No.
Well, they get 2 wins this year. They'll get
Look, if
Aaron Rodgers.
If Aaron Rodgers went to the Jets and they make the playoffs, scoot over Tom Brady because there's a new goat in town.
Yeah, we took Aaron Rodgers over our top 10 quarterbacks all time. He might be number 1 after that.
Yeah, I mean, look, you got to look at all these top quarterbacks that everybody's like, oh, MVP. Who are they throwing to?
Yeah,
Hall of Famers. At the end of the day, they are Hall of Famers. And you can't tell me otherwise. Jonathan Taylor has nobody to assist him. I mean, he's got the offensive line, but outside of that hole that he breaks, those tackles that he breaks, everything he does on the field, that's him.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a scapegoat like, he can't just check down. Boom, there you go. There's 5 yards. Boom, there's 10 yards. That's all me. I did check down and I'm the greatest ever. Not taking away from the quarterback position, but we need to stop making the MVP award what was the best team and the best player on the best team.
Yeah.
Need to make it. If we plugged this player into any team, do they make a difference in a positive way? And the answer is yes. If you plug Jonathan Taylor in to almost every single NFL team, he would make a positive impact.
So
that is a fact.
So here's my question. Obviously, we both think that Jonathan Taylor should be number 1. So let's off the top of the dome. All right, Jonathan Taylor gets our vote. Who fills your 2, 3, 4, and we'll just do top 5. 2 to 5. If we both have JT at 1
for MVP.
Yeah,
I would put. This might be a little biased. Maybe. At number 2, I got Cooper Kupp. Triple Crown winner. Come on.
Yeah.
Coop. And then I would put Aaron Rodgers. And then Tom Brady. And then at that 5 spot, I don't know who I'd put at the 5 spot, honestly.
I'm putting, I'll have the same list, but at 5, I'm putting TJ Watt. 22 and a half sacks.
Yeah.
Tied Michael Strahan's sack record.
I'll give you that. Yeah. I mean, it's odd putting a defensive player in the MVP category.
Yeah, but you don't see it, and that doesn't make any sense. 22 and a half sacks, that's a game changer right there.
Defense wins games, man.
Yeah, and then we'll kind of piggyback off that. So I guess that's our top 5 who we thought should have won. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers won. Defensive Player of the Year. TJ Watt deserves it, right? He worked.
Absolutely.
Micah Parsons was in there even as a rookie. He won Defensive Rookie of the Year. He was in there for just regular Defensive Player of the Year. But the biggest, and he got no votes, and I don't know if you know this, but the Maniac, right, from the Colts. I can't remember his name. It's the linebacker. Darius Leonard. There you go. Darius Leonard received no votes, and he had over 140 tackles. He had 11 takeaways, rather that be forced fumbles, interceptions, fumble recoveries, sacks, whatever. And I think he had 6 or 7 sacks on the season, and did not even. And I'm talking about his numbers were up there with Ray Lewis when he won his MVP, and a couple other big name linebackers, and didn't even get a single vote, not even a sniff of consideration. Not even third place.
It's the team. If you're not on a really or a decent team or a good team or anything, you get overlooked. You could be on the Jaguars and you could put up Tom Brady numbers at QB and have a 2-win season, and guess what? You're not winning that.
Yeah, sorry, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, he ain't ever putting up that.
He's got the tools, man. Maybe he's got the coach, but it's the Jaguars, so we'll see. I think that is to kind of stray a little bit, kind of off topic, but Doug Peterson being hired by Jacksonville now has to play Carson Wentz twice a year, his former quarterback, and then play Frank Wright, his former OC, twice a year. I think that's kind of a funny little dynamic. So I guess we'll see who's got the
game of football
coach. Yeah, who's the better coach? If we move on. Let's another thing was discussed at the NFL Awards show, and it kind of been popping everywhere, is the Hall of Fame. All right. First, I want to congratulate Whitworth for getting Man of the Year. Obviously, that's a big time honor for helping the community. And then
did you watch his speech?
Yeah, I saw that the Boys and Girls Club, I think it was, and can't remember the player, but he plays for the Lions.
I don't really care too much about any speeches. Most of them are kind of like, yeah, whatever. But that dude's speech, I sat there and I was captivated the entire time. The dude can talk. Listen, man, he captured my attention.
I watched it actually before we got on the show. Brought me to tears. If I cried. I'm a man. I don't cry. But
you don't cry. We don't cry on the show.
No. We suck him back up.
But outside of him being a Ram, definitely deserving of it, especially with all the stuff he does. I mean, It seemed like if he wasn't playing football, he was giving somebody something.
So. Yeah. And he was definitely destined for greatness. He's been in the league. And I think the funny part about the story was he's like, am I really this old? This guy came running across and he's like, is this some coach's son or something like this? Like, I've been playing that long.
Did I play against your dad or something?
Yeah, and then the dude was like, no, you used to talk to me at the Boys and Girls Club when you were with the Bengals over in Cincinnati. And look, he's like, I made it to the NFL. I think it was like Derek Brown or something like that, defensive lineman for the Lions. But nonetheless,
I can't remember.
It's a cool story.
But definitely a cool story.
But so we going on the Hall of Fame snubs. Let me pull up the Hall of Fame list actually, so we can kind of. Let me see. I'm sorry. I apologize for viewers for me not having this up.
Would you like me to pull it up real fast?
We have
Leroy Butler.
There you go. You got it.
Brian Young, Sam Mills, Cliff Branch, Richard Seymour, Art McNally, Tony Bosley.
That's the Jaguars' very first pick ever.
And Dick Vermeil.
Vermeil.
And, we don't do names on the show.
No, we're not good at names.
As Brandon calls people, Brian G.
Yeah.
I'm going to call this man Dick V. Dick Vermeil.
But I think Dick Vermeil was cool because of the movie Invincible. Obviously, he was the Rams head coach as well. But yeah, won you guys a couple of Super Bowls back in the St. Louis days.
Couple.
AstroTurf. Didn't you guys win like one or two?
We have one.
There you go. He won you one. He won you one.
He won you a couple.
He won you a couple of tears.
So we got one.
All
right, so there's your list.
Yeah.
I think all deserving. A lot of them,
100%, all deserving.
A couple of them have passed on, unfortunately, which sucks because they never actually got to see this moment.
Yeah, their sisters or wives kind of come out
and I know there's a lot of people saying there were some snubs. There is one that I agree with, and it's the only one that I really have floating around that I agree with. I mean, everybody's time is coming. I will say that, but
you talking about dying, or are you talking about getting in the
getting in the Hall of Fame? Getting in the Hall of Fame. Hopefully, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Most of these guys are either have already passed away that got inducted, or are getting older, and you never know what happens. It's life. Life is short. So I think this list is good based off of that reason. I don't think anybody was snubbed based off of their accolades or their talent or their accomplishments or anything like that. So I technically wouldn't say it's a snub. I would just say, I don't know what I would really say. I think it's being done right.
Yeah. And Hall of Fame is one of the hardest things to get into. I think it was kind of they took this year to kind of like push in people who have been passed over so many times. They kind of just said, all right, let's go ahead and get these guys in. And everyone else can kind of wait. But, I mean, there were some big names that did not get selected. Two to come to mind are Reggie Wayne, one of the greatest receivers to ever play the game. And then you got Devin Hester, who is listed as a receiver/specialist, and he would be kind of going as a receiver/specialist. To me, Devin Hester should have been first ballot because he revolutionized the special teams, kick returning, the whole thing, position. You had Green from the Redskins, or the Commanders, back in the day, formerly known as the Redskins. That kind of was the first big-time kick returner. You got Deion Sanders, but Devin Hester, when I go Taylor Brian Roberts, who would you want all-time back there to return kicks? You would say
Devin.
Yep.
Devin Hester.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No question. And I agree with you. There's no doubt in my mind that he is a Hall of Famer. I just feel like they had to push these people through. You know, they are Hall of Famers, and it's time for them to be in the Hall of Fame. Sucks that Devin Hester got passed over this year, but
he's going to get in next year.
Absolutely next year. I guarantee you we see Devin Hester in the Hall of Fame. No doubt in my mind.
I think next year's class is going to be pretty good class. I mean, they're all good classes. They're all Hall of Famers, obviously. I mean, it's the best. I think it was pretty cool that the Jaguars' very first pick ever, when they became a franchise in '95, Tony Baselli, got selected in the Hall of Fame. That's pretty cool to say as an organization. Our first pick in organization history was a Hall of Fame tackle. It's pretty cool. The Ravens had Ogden, who was
pretty cool. That's all they have to hold on to.
Yeah. Fred Taylor is another one, Jags, that should be kind of getting in there. He's got numbers up there with Emmitt Smith and stuff like that. So
he will definitely be.
I think Fred Taylor's going to get passed probably one more time before he gets in. I don't think.
Remember what I said? I said this earlier to you personally. There's 52 players per team per year, 32 teams per year. That's a lot of players you have to sift through to see, all right, were they Hall of Famers? Yeah. Okay. Did they put up Hall of Fame numbers? All right. Are they Hall of Fame caliber? All this other stuff. There's a lot of former players you have to go through. So right now they're just shifting in that lower end Hall of Famers, pushing them in. And then next year we'll see all the people that were like, oh, they got snubbed this year, blah, blah. They'll get in for sure. So,
and then I raise this question because I kind of watch, I can't remember the name of the podcast, but I watch highlights of it all the time with Chad Johnson, Brandon Marshall, and all that, former players. Shady McCoy was on there and stuff like that. They kind of talked about, they said, Chad Johnson was a distraction while he's on the field, yada, 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 yada. Chad Johnson said, I'm a Hall of Fame receiver. Put my numbers up with anybody, put my ability, put what I meant to the game up with anybody. I'm a Hall of Famer. Would you put Chad? I mean, he's been out for 5 years. He hasn't been even considered. Would you put Chad? I mean, another name out there is Asante Samuel, who's got numbers up with Deion Sanders as far as interceptions go. Would you put Chad Johnson in the Hall of Fame, or was he just a great player, not a Hall of Famer?
I would say great player, not a Hall of Famer.
Okay.
Personally.
I think he meant a lot to the game as far as entertainment goes.
Absolutely.
I think, him and T.O., you got the popcorn, then you have the him signing, and not popcorn was T.O., but, him pulling out a Sharpie, him pulling out the Hall of Fame. It made the Bengals, the crappy Bengals, must-watch TV.
Yeah, it was, the Bengals are on, we get to watch Ocho.
Yeah.
That's what it was. After him, it was, the Bengals are on. What other game can we watch?
Oh, man.
It sucks to say, if you're a Bengals fan watching this, now it doesn't suck.
Yeah,
but,
now it doesn't.
That's what it was. He was entertaining to watch, regardless of whether you guys sucked or not. It was, we get to watch Chad Ochocinco. That dude is entertaining, regardless.
Now, he was a great player, so he did have great...
Yeah, he was a great player. It's just the accolades weren't there, unfortunately. He might make it into the Hall of Fame. I don't know. It's not up to me. But definitely a great player. So extremely entertaining to watch. But personally, I don't think he makes Hall of Fame.
All right. So you got... My other question, I guess, would be Asante Samuel. He's put out his numbers against Deion, Champ Bailey. He's got better numbers than Champ as far as allowed coverage. So he's allowed less yards per game than Champ Bailey. Champ Bailey's obviously in. He's got the most interceptions of any corner in NFL history, and he's not in.
If you're asking me if I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, yeah.
Yeah, that was my general question. Do you think? I would.
He's got. If you have Hall of Fame numbers, you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that with the voting, though, a lot of times there is some, and you try not to believe that there's some bias.
There's always bias in everything. Doesn't matter what it is.
Asante Samuel had his. They don't really have. I wouldn't say really off the field issues, but he had his antics where he would, catch the.
That's the other thing that is being taken into account now.
Yeah. On
field and off field, so that the question of do you think they are Hall of Fame is now such a different question.
Okay, Kareem Hunt, do you think he'll go in the NFL Hall of Fame as the best kicker of all time?
For what, MMA or?
No, the best kicker.
Oh, sorry. Potentially.
Yeah.
The kick heard around the world.
Yeah. Ray Rice is probably the best person to be in the elevator
pound
with.
For pound fighter.
Yeah. So, all jokes, people, obviously, but nonetheless, so I think Asante Samuel should be in. Personally, I think you agree, but I don't know. I don't know what goes into voting. I don't know what they're considering. I think maybe he'll get in when he's like 60 or 70, when they're kind of dry.
Yeah. When there's nobody else to get pushed in.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But I do think he does. I think he's one of the best corners of all time. So we kind of talk. Is there anyone else that you think that just coming to mind that's not in right now that you're like, maybe even played for the Rams, you're like, they need to be in?
Not really, no. Sam Bradford. I'm kidding. Sam Bradford, unfortunately, will not make it.
Yeah.
As much as I would love to see that day, it won't happen.
All right, and then I guess will be the last question on Hall of Fame. Do you believe Brady, like Wayne Gretzky, because Gretzky didn't have to wait the 5 years, 6 years, whatever, for Hockey Hall of Fame. He just got, the moment he retired, that year for Hall of Fame, they bypassed it. They took a vote, and he unanimously voted him in to the Hockey Hall of Fame. Do you think Brady should get the same treatment, or should he have to wait out the 5 years?
So I'm going to say this based on based off of what happened with Kobe Bryant, I hope they do. Mm-hmm. That was the biggest shot to the gut. not being able to listen to Kobe Bryant's Hall of Fame speech.
Yeah.
Not being able to experience that moment, watching him play, whether I hate the guy or not. I'm talking about Tom Brady.
It's like, whoa, man.
Yeah, no. Talking about Tom Brady here. Whether or not I hate the guy, the dude changed football. The dude made the game of football something completely
My
different
dad
that
is
we've
not
never
going
seen.
to allow you to come to this house ever.
That's fair. Look, as I stated before, I hate the guy, but as a football fan, you have to give respect where respect is due.
Yeah.
That's just the game and the game itself, as much as it sucks.
I would say he'd
With
have to
that
wait.
said,
I would say he had to wait 5 years, simply because Peyton had to wait, his 5. So,
all right, fair enough. I think I would take Peyton over Tom Brady and I'll probably get hate on that, but I'll take Peyton as my quarterback over Tom.
You shouldn't. I mean, Peyton's 3-2 against Tom in the Super Bowl. Tom's had better teams. So, I mean,
I will 100% take Peyton Manning over Tom Brady any day of the week.
All right. And then
but
here's my thing.
But the thing about Tom Brady is he has dominated the game. Unfortunately, he has dominated the game for 20 plus years.
Yeah, but I mean, the first 3 Super Bowls have asterisks. 2, he got
every Super Bowl Tom Brady has won should have an asterisk because there's always something shady going on.
Well, his first 3 Super Bowls, they won by a field goal. It was heavily defensive carried. It wasn't like he was over the top amazing. But then you gotta look at his teams, right? All right, I'll say Hall of Fame or not, and I'll let you know if they're in the Hall of Fame. Corey Dillon, running back, New England Patriots, former Cincinnati. He's in the Hall of Fame. Kevin Falk, Hall of Fame. Richard Seymour, now in the Hall of Fame. Ty Law, now in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's now in.
Asante Samuel, one of the best corners ever. Then you got Rodney Harrison, Hall of Fame. Then you got Junior Seau, Hall of Fame. And this is all one defense, by the way. This is all one defense. Vince Wilfork, eventually in the Hall of Fame.
Who?
Get out of here.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Teddy Bruschi, Hall of Fame.
Look, if you wear overalls ever, I know who you are.
Yeah. And then you got Wes Welker, not going to be in the Hall of Fame. But good receiver.
So.
But you know what I'm saying.
This is what I'm saying, though. I said this earlier in the show. These great quarterbacks are only great because of what they're surrounded by.
He went to Tampa Bay and he had Mike Evans and AB before AB'd. And then Chris Godwin. Then they had an offensive line. They have Gronk, O.J. Howard.
You cannot be great unless you have great pieces around you. That's all I'm going to say.
That's why football is the greatest team sport. Because in NBA, Westbrook gets hurt, right? The Lakers, I know they got kind of a super team, although they're struggling. If you just had LeBron, he can take over a game and win you a game with just him. In the NFL, if you just had Tom Brady and then you put out a bunch of nobodies on offense, defense, and special teams, he's not doing anything. I mean,
Agreed.
It's the ultimate team game.
Agreed.
So that's why I say he should wait. Had to wait 5 years.
I get that. The only reason why I said it should get bypassed is because of what happened with Kobe, and we never got to see that speech, and whether you hate the guy or not, Tom Brady was and is a prolific part of football in the NFL.
He's go down as the greatest quarterback to ever play the game until Pat Mahomes retires, and then
you mean Joey Burr?
Joey Burr. No, I think Pat Mahomes, once he gets if he gets 1 or 2 more, he doesn't need like the 6 or whatever that Tom has. He only needs 1 or 2 more. Way better pocket movement, bigger arm.
Oh, no doubt. But the thing
accurate,
is, my prediction is Patrick Mahomes is going to start dwindling fast based off of injuries. He's getting hurt so much already, and Tom Brady never got hurt like this. That's the thing. Tom Brady has been protected for 20-something years.
He knew how to get down.
So
tuck rule and all that.
Yeah.
Don't want to hit him.
Yeah. Tom Brady has been protected his entire career. Patrick Mahomes has been getting his ass kicked since he got into the league. Same with Joey B. I think Joey B he got sacked more than any other quarterback in history this year.
Yeah.
I mean, dudes probably are better than Tom Brady. Like eventually, like they'll
Yeah.
overtake Tom Brady as the greatest of all time if they got the protection he got.
So,
But unfortunately, Patrick Mahomes is already injury prone. Not like, oh, he's out for the whole season, but I mean, he's injury prone. He's mobile. If you're mobile, you're more likely to get hit. The O-line isn't the best O-line out there. You're more likely to get sacked. It's just the game. And it's evolving in a way where quarterbacks are more mobile and they're going to get hit.
I would agree. I still think, if he wins not if, right? If, that's the big if here. Hypothetical. Gets one or two more, he'll go down as the GOAT. Accolades, stats, whatever. You just brought up Joe Burr. Obviously, exceptional talent. You brought up how the Bengals don't really have an offensive line and how the Rams are going to eat him alive. You didn't say that, but I'm saying that. We'll talk about that a little bit down here. I don't know if you heard Carson Wentz. Carson Palmer. Wrong Carson. Carson Palmer, former Bengals quarterback, came out saying, if I'm Joe Burr, because I think after this year, following year, 2024, when he's up for a contract, he said, I would think long and hard, even if he wins or loses the Super Bowl, no matter what, if I would re-sign with the Bengals, because do I trust them to get me an offensive line and more weapons? Because then he goes on to say something like, when it comes down to it, they're going to have to pay me, T. Higgins, and Jamar at the same time, and I want my money. What's going to happen? Are they going to surround me with an offensive line and more weapons if one of those two receivers, leave? Do I sign with the Bengals? And it's caught a lot of flack. So, let me get your opinion on that.
I can see why I caught some flack, but I kind of agree. Because do you want to have a long career?
No.
Then you need to go and either if the Bengals are like, yeah, look, we're going to invest in some money, we're going to get you an offensive line. Then cool. I'm sticking with y'all. All right. Yeah. But the only way for that to happen, there's going to be some people who are going to need to take some pay cuts. And if you want to be one of the greatest of all time, you got to make those sacrifices like Tom Brady did. Tom Brady has taken pay cut after pay cut after pay cut. What's made up for that is his sponsors and his endorsements and stuff like that.
And his wife, who's also pretty rich.
Yeah. So money is not an issue for Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Never was. Will never be an issue. Whatever.
When he kisses his children on the mouth, he knows
it's $50K. $50K for each kiss.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Dad, I'm 18. Stop kissing me on the lips.
Yeah. Look, you either need to. Oh my God. He either needs to find a team that's going to invest in him, because the quarterback's the most essential part. That's the heartbeat of the team. It is whatever you can say otherwise, but it's fact. The quarterback position is the heartbeat of the team. You need to either say, hey, Bengals, are you going to invest in me and give me this offensive line that's going to protect me, and I'm going to have more than 2 seconds to figure out what I'm doing in the pocket here? Or am I going to have to go find a team that's like, hey, look, we know you're talented. You're a young quarterback. You just made it to the Super Bowl, and we're looking to get a new offensive line. We'll pay you this much money. Are you down?
Yeah.
And if the Bengals aren't saying, yeah, we'll do the same for you, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play 2 more years and make a couple million that will probably get spent because he's a young 25-year-old kid. He's got a necklace that's gold and diamond plated with his initials. He clearly spends his money the way he wants to.
Yeah, you see the reporter asked if it was fake, and he was like,
"Yeah,
I make too much money.
I make too much money for it to be fake. Come on now." You got to find a place that's going to protect you if you want to play long.
Yeah,
you're going to get the endorsements. You're going to get your money some way. Find a place that's going to invest in you by getting you the pieces you need to win. Simple as that.
Yeah,
so
I would agree. I didn't think it was
Carson Palmer wasn't far off on what the kid needs to do.
And I think him catching a lot of flack is really from Bengals fans saying, like, no,
you couldn't do anything with us. You're just salty.
And they call him the most overrated Bengals quarterback and yada yada. Carson Palmer was a good quarterback.
Carson Palmer was a good work. Yeah.
I mean, they had good receivers, but they never had an offensive line, and that's something that's always plagued the Bengals, right? I mean, you got to think they had Chris Henry before he died, Chad Ochocinco, and T.J. Houshmandzadeh. That's pretty good three for starting three. And then now they have T. Higgins, they have tight end C.J. Uzma, and then they have Jamar Chase. So it's kind of
and they have an insanely good backfield.
Yeah, and Joe Mixon and stuff like that. So and then Carson Palmer had Corey Dillon before he went to the Patriots, who again we just talked about is a Hall of Fame running back. So, I mean, it's kind of, and they both wear number 9, and Bengals fans were like, Carson's just being pissy because number 9 is gonna be retired with a different last name, and and it's just kind of funny.
I mean, I get it. If I'm a Bengals fan, I'd be like, shut up, old man.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
It's kind of like me with Donovan McNabb, right? Donovan McNabb's one of my favorite quarterbacks, but anytime he talks about an Eagles quarterback, right? First he loved Carson Wentz, and then he was like, nah, Carson's not the franchise quarterback. Now he's with Jalen Hurts. He's like, Jalen Hurts is the franchise quarterback. He's goated. He starts to struggle. We'll see when he did start struggling. Donovan still kind of stuck behind him, but we'll see, as next year goes on. It's kind of like, all right, shut up, old man.
Thought we had this conversation, old man. No, I'm with Carson Palmer. I mean, Joey B needs to look out for himself. Yeah. It's
business.
That's exactly, it's business, and you are the product.
Yeah. Matthew Stafford retires. He goes to the Rams.
What?
I'm saying Joey B, man. He leaves the Bengals, goes to the Rams after Stafford retires.
Get out of here. That ain't happening.
You would instantly go buy a Joe Burrow number 9 Rams.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah. I guess we probably should move on to the Pro Bowl, the great game of the Pro Bowl.
I'm going to make this segment real quick. And if you have anything else you want to add, you can add to it.
I got you.
But worst production I've ever seen in my entire life. Either eliminate the Pro Bowl game completely and just fill it with skill games like you do before the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Or, like a lot of people have been saying, take the worst 2 teams in the NFL.
I was just about to say that.
And have them play against each other to see who gets the first round draft pick. Because I tell you what, that'll be some of the best football you've ever seen those 2 teams play. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. Other than that, I hated it. I've hated it for the last however many years. And I am glad that they stopped doing it in Hawaii because nobody ever showed up in Hawaii, and it just looked like a sad event.
Yeah.
So that's all I've got to say on the Pro Bowl.
I would say they need to focus more on the skill, the position, like skill things, like further who can throw the farthest and who's the fastest and stuff like that. Like that stuff's entertaining. I didn't even know it was on. I was sitting there on like scrolling through Twitter, and it was like Micah Parsons race the Tyreek Hill, yada yada yada, and I was like, they're already doing the race, like they're already doing all this stuff. Like Pro Bowl.
Do like a 5-on-5 pickup basketball game. Do dodgeball. Do a weightlifting competition with the linemen. Do who can throw the furthest. Do the target, whatever thing that they do with the quarterbacks. Do all that stuff for 2 straight days.
Yeah,
I will sit there and watch that because that stuff is entertaining to watch. I don't want to see
trying to kick 80-yard field goals and
who can kick the furthest field goal or something like that. I would rather watch a weekend full of that rather than watch Alvin Kamara after he just got done beating up on some dude in the streets of Las Vegas
get
two-hand touched. Yeah. I'm good.
Yeah.
If he can beat up on some dude, he can go out there and play tackle football. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like he did more hitting off the field on the streets in Vegas than he did on the field. Man. That's ridiculous. Come on.
I do think they need to take the Pro Bowl out of Vegas because you got a lot of young guys who are going to continue.
I mean, did we not learn anything this year? Las Vegas is not the place to put a bunch of NFL players, a lot of people with money and alcohol. It just doesn't mix well, ever.
It does not mix. Yeah. And
that's all I got to say on the Pro Bowl. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
I'll never watch it again until they change it.
Guess we'll go on to the Super Bowl, talk a little bit about the Bengals. Talk a little about the Rams, and we'll do our predictions. So
Rams win.
Rams wins. We're already doing our predictions.
Win.
Rams win.
Yep.
I already
Rams win.
I don't think. I mean, Joe Burrow has been getting smacked.
33-21 Rams.
33-21. I have the Rams winning I think I said like 27-17 or something like that. 17-14 or something like that.
27-9. All McPherson.
All McPherson.
An 80-yarder, 70-yarder, and a 60-yarder.
Think about this. His rookie year, he'll be the only kicker to make, in the postseason, every single field goal. It's pretty big.
The kid's good.
He's good, man.
There's no doubt about it.
Gator chomp. I think that the Bengals are going to put up a good fight, but I think the Rams are going to come declaw these little kittens. I don't think the Bengals are ready. The Bengals kind of got away with one against the Raiders. Yes, it was a touchdown
absolutely.
by Joe Burrow, because obviously, but the play was blown dead. So by rule, technically, he should not have been. It should not have been overturned. But I don't know. I think Joe Burrow is a good quarterback, and I think he has what it takes to win a Super Bowl. But Aaron Donald, Von Miller, you got Jalen Ramsey.
The defense is going to absolutely demolish that offensive line.
Like Joe Burrow is gonna. They're gonna kill the Tiger, man.
Yeah.
And I just don't see it. That offensive line is unless they play their best ever the whole season. I just don't.
I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. They're at the beginning of the game. They're straight out of the gate. Guarantee they start with the run game, and they're going to stick to the run game for the majority of the game. Guaranteed. Because the Rams' run defense is not the best, and that's just a fact.
Joe Mixon's a good running back.
And Joe Mixon's a good running back, and then you got Samaje Perine back there. Yeah. He's a good running back. Both Oklahoma. I mean, if you're from Oklahoma and you played at the University of Oklahoma, you're a good running back.
Baker Mayfield going to the Bengals would convert you.
It might. I mean, if there's an all-star Oklahoma NFL team out there, I mean,
Cincinnati Sooners.
I'm there. I'll get a jersey at least.
Yeah. I just don't see it. We both called the Rams in the Super Bowl all season.
Yep.
We thought it was going to be Rams versus Bills, and there was a good chance, but unfortunately, they put the Chiefs versus the Bills early on in the playoffs, so that they kind of wiped each other out there. The Bengals getting past the Chiefs was shocking, to say the least.
Yeah.
But because I think I did say, I was like, I think the Chiefs will win. Chiefs versus Rams, with the Chiefs potentially winning. But I think Rams win it. I don't know if the Bengals have, and I'll also put this out there. I hope the Rams win it just so Eli, and I want to watch Eli Apple get torched. I want Cooper Kupp to torch him for like 1,000 yards. I want the first 1,000-yard game. I want Matthew Stafford to do. I want him 10 catches for 100 yards each play. Like, just be like, hey, we'll start it at the 1-yard line, and we're just gonna throw it to Cooper for 100 yards. That's what I want.
I'd like to see that. I mean, I'm being biased in everything I'm saying. Maybe, I don't know, but I've got Rams winning all day.
He's a Rams fan, so
yeah, kinda, a little bit.
Although he fell asleep during the NFC Championship game. So.
I did that off of superstition.
Are you gonna sleep against Super Bowl? You know, if the Rams lose, it's because you didn't go to sleep, man. You watched it.
I didn't. So the Cardinals game, I didn't watch the full game.
Yeah.
We won. I didn't watch either of the next two games whatsoever. I watched them, but like the Buccaneers game, I stopped watching half of it. Then turn it back on. We won.
I almost jinxed you.
You almost jinxed me. I was losing it, man. I was losing it. And then we played the 49ers. I fell asleep at the end of the game, near the end of the game in the fourth quarter, because I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Superstition kicks in. I can't finish the game. I go upstairs, lay down, fall asleep. And then I'm getting like calls, and I got Ashley coming upstairs, waking me up. She's like, Rams won. The Rams won. The Rams won. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So I might have to take a like 10-minute nap during the Super Bowl, man.
Yeah.
Might have to do that.
You know, a little power nap in.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to do something because I'm superstitious when it comes to Rams.
I am with the Eagles. For me, it's always like, oh, we're doing good. So then I'm like, okay, We might win this. The moment I said we might win this, we start to lose. So I'm like, the moment we do a bad play, I don't care if it's just a stupid fumble and we're up by 30 points. I'm like, God, man, I can't believe we're going to freaking lose. It could be the first play of the first quarter, and, there's still time, like a whole 3 hours left. And I'd be like, we lost already. And my dad would be like, the game just started. But then when I say we lost already, at the end of the game, we win.
My thing is, the biggest thing is for me is anytime I'm outspoken, like saying like, I'm a huge Rams fan. I put on one of my jerseys. I put on a hat.
You lose.
I wear
I
my yellow Crocs.
I put on a jersey, and it's like, we lost.
Yep. So, what game was it? It was the Buccaneers game. I wanted to wear something during the game, so I put on a Rams T-shirt and then put a hoodie over it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how superstitious I am. Like, I'm wearing it, but you can't see it, so it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Whatever, and we won. That's my thinking.
I make Erin, my wife, for people out there. Once she got herself a Devontae Smith jersey, but I'm so superstitious. When we were back in college and she was at work, we were losing, and I texted her. I'm like, hopefully she sees us. Let's take a Sharpie and write "Fly Eagles Fly" on your hand right now, because she's my good luck charm. So I go, write it, and she wrote it down on her hand, took a picture, and then guess what happened? We won. So
yeah, superstitions are real in sports, and that's the only place they're real.
Yeah.
The weird thing is, I have no superstitions when it comes to Oklahoma football. None
I
whatsoever.
don't have any superstition when it comes to the Gators, because I just expect we're going to lose. So.
I just expect we're going to win and then get into the playoffs and get demolished.
I blame Dan Mullen, though, for that.
Billy Napier.
Change it up.
New playing field.
I mean, listen, this kind of sidetrack, but he's already got like 5 stars coming in, one to talk to him. So.
I've seen a change in the program. It seems more lively, so maybe you guys will do something.
Yeah, but it's not dead.
Yeah.
Imagine being like, so this is off topic, but IMG Academy is like 20 minutes away from Gainesville, and there's 5-star recruits coming out there all the time, and we haven't had an IMG prospect since Urban Meyer.
That's disappointing.
We didn't even go to IMG. Dan Mullen never showed his face. When they asked IMG, they're like, "Is this the first time Florida?" Who's we got? Kamara Wilson, 5-star safety out of IMG. They said, "Is this the first player that you got at IMG?" They're like, "Well, not since Urban Meyer." And they're like, "Did Dan Mullen even show up?" They asked. He's like, "Dan Mullen never came by our campus. We just kind of wrote him off." So all the players just kind of wrote Florida off, because he's like, "Man, the head coach don't even want to drive 20 minutes down the road."
if I am 20 minutes from a 5-star breeding ground,
yeah,
you better believe I'm there every weekend.
Yeah,
I am there. I am there on Sundays. I'm there on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays after a game.
Yeah, I'm making.
Did you see how we played out there?
Yeah, IMG.
Yeah,
woo-hoo! Yeah,
you could be a part of that.
Yeah. But nonetheless, we got the Rams winning the Super Bowl against the Bengals. We think that the defensive line for the Rams will be too much for the Bengals to overcome. And with Joe Burrow being young, I don't know. And we both hope Eli Apple gets cooked like an apple pie on Thanksgiving and eaten with a cup.
Yes, we do.
Eaten with a cup of sugar.
Cooper cup.
Yes. Nonetheless, guys, we, like always, make sure you like and subscribe the video. We appreciate you guys coming out. Make sure you share the video. And we will be moving on to releasing our top 5s, talking about it on the show, and to Sideline to Sideline Draft Edition. Posting those. No. Me and Taylor here will get our top 5. We'll probably do quarterbacks first, do our top 5, kind of break them down. We'll show a little bit of footage.
Get the hardest one out first.
Yeah, get the... man, who's going to suck the least out of this draft class? Don't draft a quarterback.
Who's going to be the least waste of money here?
Yeah. Who's going to... Malik Willis wasn't supposed to go into, the second round, and then all of a sudden he had a good Senior Bowl, and they're like, But no, that's the topic for another day. After this is our last NFL news, or NFL edition of Sideline to Sideline until the NFL season starts back up during the draft. We're going to move on to the draft process. Make sure you like and subscribe the video, and like always, guys, thank you guys for watching.